Doc Talk with Dr. Paul Conley is a production of the Signer Foundation, which is solely responsible for the content.
Hello, I'm Dr. Paul Conley, host of Doc Talk. This is a very special episode in which I'm here with my good friend Steve Antoline. We've been doing this now. This is our second year in a row. And this is a spring turkey hunt here in the hills of West Virginia. But we're also really promoting WVU Children's Hospital. And WVU Children's is something that you are instrumental role in, Steve. You know, last year we did our turkey hunt and we were very fortunate to kill a turkey, just as this year. And you were telling us a little bit about, you know, where things were with WVU Children's, and you know the building was in progress, and trying to get donations to help support such a wonderful organization and just for the needs of the kids. So, Steve, maybe you can just tell us a little bit. So, where are we now with WVU Children's?
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it very much. Progressing incredibly well. The hospital has continued to be built out. September 24th this fall is an incredible day when the ribbon will be cut on the new WVU Madison Children's Hospital, Morgantown. 5 days of intensive cleaning, and we'll be treating patients on the 29th. The hospital and the Grow Hope campaign has just been incredible, Paul. The number of people that have backed this and joined and helped is unbelievable, especially in a difficult time for our country, you know, financially and with all the unknowns of the last couple of years. Over 17,000 people have donated. The large donations are great, but the small donations mean so much as well, Paul. And everybody's got behind this hospital, and rightfully so. It's going to be an amazing facility for the kids, state of the art, literally state of the art for our country. And the greater thing is that as with any business, your greatest asset's your people. WVU Medicine, Albert Wright, Amy Bush, the COO, the driving force behind this hospital, has recruited tirelessly and have brought some amazing physicians in the hospital. We have Dr. Masio out of CHOP, number 3 children's hospital in the country, is now our pediatric heart surgeon running that clinic. So many great doctors have decided that Morgantown would be a great place to raise their family. And now we're going to have state-of-the-art facilities treating children with literally some of the best physicians, staff, nurses, administration in the country and in some cases in the world. So what a gem in the crown of West Virginia.
Well, Steve, you know, we were talking a little bit earlier today as we were, you know, going through the woods and talking a little bit about, you know, if you, you know, have a child with cancer or have a child that may have a condition that may require, you know, tertiary care center or significant health care, you know, until we have WVU Children's, these children and families would have to travel outside the state of West Virginia. And just as you mentioned, you know, one with the economy, and we've been through this pandemic with COVID, it's such a hardship to get to and from, let's say, a children's hospital in Pittsburgh or Children's Hospital of Philadelphia or Johns Hopkins. And not everybody has those type of resources. And just to be able to be right here in your back home, you know, Steve, I know one of the things that you said last year and has rung true to me, and I have not forgotten it. You said, why not West Virginia? You know, and I still think that is something, you know, here in the state of West Virginia, to be able to have a premier hospital for our future. And that's the children. The children are our future. They're the future leaders, the future healthcare providers. And, you know, I know you've done a tremendous job, you and Amy Bush and, of course, Albert Wright, with not only with the brick and the mortar, but like you said, the people. So how many, as far as jobs and stuff, how many jobs and employees, you know, will WVU Children's actually have?
Yeah, great question. You know, the existing hospital has a little over 500 employees, and of course those employees will be retained and move into the new hospital in September And there'll be a little over 500 positions added. These are high-paying professional positions. So the new hospital itself in Morgantown will employ over 1,000 doctors, nurses, staff, administration, all professional people treating sick kids in our state and our region. And it's so important, as you mentioned. It's all within driving distance now, and these people don't have to go to Philadelphia. You don't have to go to Baltimore. Part of our campaign, a big part is the bricks and mortar, but equally and probably more important is the programming aspect of this, which helps those that are in a difficult time to maybe get a gas card, to get a hotel room. With some of the opioid addicted treatment programs that we have at Children's.
Well, I think one of the things too, Steve, not to interrupt, but talking about W Children's and what you've done is not only you talk about driving to Morgantown, but once that child is cared for at W Children's and they come back, let's say, to here in Nicholas County, they have an outreach with the advent of telehealth and being able to have physicians where they can go to their local hospital for follow-up. And I know that's something that you have been a part of as well, making sure that you kind of use the terminology of like a wheel, okay, where you have the spokes, and so you have the center hub. So if you need care at W Children's, you can get that care you need, but then you can also get your follow-up right here at home.
Exactly, and it's so important for the state. I mean, right here in Summersville, WU acquired our Summersville hospital. They own 22 hospitals now around the state and clinics. Over 16 of these are children's either have children's pediatrics in the hospital or clinics. And as you said, with telemedicine, if you have a child in Bluefield or Mercer County that has a very unusual heart condition, you now have the resources of Dr. Masio in Morgantown, which is one of the best pediatric heart surgeons in the country. And so that hub and spoke approach is by design, and Amy Bush has promoted this, and she personally has outreach with all these clinics. She's involved with Lewis Rowe of Summersville Hospital Pediatrics, and it's a unique form of healthcare that's just so incredibly professional and helpful for our whole state. So, as you say, the hospital's in the northern part of the state, but it really has an outreach throughout our state, throughout the region. We have people coming out of state into WVU medicine for healthcare now, and that's just a really good thing in my opinion.
Well, Steve, I tell you what, it's always been a pleasure having you. One, to get the turkey hunting. I'm sure people get a kick out of, watching you and I go out sleuthing through the woods, trying to get one of these West Virginia very wildly turkeys. But in all seriousness, it's just great to get outdoors and get out in the camaraderie and the friendship that we've had for years, and then to be able, for you especially, to be such a part of W Children's, which is a legacy. This is something that will be taking care of children and their children long after you and I are gone, and I just applaud you for all that you have done with this and continue to do. And I'm really looking forward to that ribbon cutting ceremony in September. And who knows, maybe we'll do a fall turkey hunt to celebrate that there as well.
Paul, I appreciate it. And it's been, I've learned over the last 4 years doing this that the greatest rewards in life are not often what you get, but what you give. And this has been one of the greatest rewards for me. But, we hunt together, we're close friends, but, you're at Plateau Medical, but you're the same way. You stayed at home, you treat your friends, your family, you care about West Virginia. And that's what West Virginians do. And, I know personally, you work 60, 70 hours a week taking care of patients that you feel responsible for, and that means so much, and I watch what you do, I watch what a lot of people do to make this state better, And you know, I appreciate you for that.
Well, I appreciate you, Steve. We are good friends, and we're going to keep doing this again. We're going to be friends for a long time. So. We got a bird gobbling down over here, over in the hill. We got a bird gobbling. Steve sees him. We're going to try to ease up here, okay, Tommy? So let's go. Tommy, can you see that turkey picture? Why is he still on the roost? Why is he still on the roost? That's crazy.
He's moving around.
Well, that's him gobbling.
That's what I thought. Yeah, you see him gobbling.
Do you see that, Tommy? Good, that's great video. You won't hardly get to see that. Tommy. All right, so what you guys saw, Steve and I saw a turkey still on the roost. It's a little bit late, but he's still on the roost. We watched him pitch down. We're going to try to ease up here, try to get us set up and see if we can't call that bird in. So let's go, guys. So this turkey we're hearing gobbling, he's henned up. He's on a flat. We've heard a couple other turkeys gobbling while we're working this bird. We're going to leave him alone. The hens go to the nest. We might be able to come back to him. He's on a strutting flat and he's not going to come off of that. But Steve's heard a couple other turkeys, so
I want to see if we can't find another one that's wanting to read the script and wanting to come into the call. Okay.
These freaking things will drive you crazy. You go here and then they're over here. I mean, I've had them just run me all over. You just gotta find one that's hard. You know?
That one there, he's like you said, he's an old timer. He's gonna be like, here's the deal. I'll gobble, you come to me. I'm gonna stay on my strutting pad, and I'm gonna stay here. He's right there. He's not far. He might come to that field. That's pretty hot. No, there's the bird. That's a tom. You see his beard?
So all we gotta do, he's by himself. Listen.
We gotta try to let him get down so we can get to the edge.
I think you just get to the edge and don't try to go over.
Yeah, don't go over. No. He'll scare you. Turkey with some hens. I see him doing that. Are you on him, Steve? Steve? They're here. There he is.
Steve, I know we didn't get this turkey on video, which I don't know that the viewers understand just how hard that is when you got a cameraman and a tripod, but I tell you what, it's going on 11 o'clock and we have hunted hard, and we've heard some birds, had them up in trees, and by golly, you're right, this area right here, we found this tom with some hens, and man, you made some good calls, and fortunately we didn't quite get the camera on him, but boy, I tell you what, to be able to do that with hens, it's impressive. That doesn't always work out that way. But anyway, to be able to come out here with a beautiful bird here in West Virginia, I tell you what, Steve, it's always, this is our annual hunt, you know, Steve. Yeah. You know, we're out here first morning. We got a little bit of video of that. Rain, snow, sleet, 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. But we got out here today, and boys, beautiful, beautiful weather. You know, we're right through here. Yeah, we'll just follow this deer path you got here, Steve. But you know, talking about getting out here in West Virginia, exercise. We're talking about that earlier. We have worked, and it's good to get outside here. You know, Steve, exercise. Being a physician, we always really tell people how important it is to get out and exercise. It's good for your heart, it's good for your breathing, yeah. It's also good for your mind. So it's shows, definitely know that people that exercise like this decreases heart attack, heart disease. It increases your endurance, and you know, a lot of people don't think about dementia in elderly, people that exercise and walk, it really seems to be helpful. So,
Yep.
and
It's fun.
it's funny. And one thing you're talking about earlier, Steve, and I think we'll just talk a little bit about safety is. We've always made sure that we keep the gun pointing in the right direction. We've talked about setting up and how making sure we know where each other is and where your hunter is. And another thing too, it's important that we're hunting together. So I think people need to understand that when you hunt, that you want to have a buddy with you in case something happens. Other thing too, Steve, you're talking earlier about ticks. You're talking about how ticks are a real problem. And with ticks, we have the Ixodes scapularis, that's our deer tick, and then there's a longhorn tick. But there's a new tick in town. It's from Asia. It's called the Asian longhorn tick, and it also carries diseases such as Lyme disease. And one of the things, we talked about making sure that you check your body when you go out in the woods. So, make sure you do an assessment when you go in. Make sure that you check your body after you've been out in the woods. And if you happen to find the tick, it's important that you remove that tick at that time. And if there's any questions, you always reach out to a healthcare provider. But something else that's helpful is a medication or it's actually permethoprim. You can get any of your animal supply stores. Is repellent against ticks. Ticks are crawlers that crawl up your legs, and all you got to do is get some permethoprim and actually spray someone around your boots, around the parts of your lower pants legs, and actually it will stay on for multiple washings. So you put a little permethoprim around the bottoms of your pants, and ticks don't like that. It's a repellent. And so just some safety tips when you're out here in the woods: stay healthy, stay safe, and again, you don't want to get tick-borne disease. And so again, just real important that you think about some of these things you get out in nature.
Paul, it's something that you don't think about a lot, but I have good friends that's had Lyme disease. It's terrible. It just drains their energy and they combat it. So just a little tip like you made there might save somebody a lot of hassle.
Well, we get out in the woods, and you and I, we're talking. I mean, you just happen to bring it up, and I say, see, that's something we should probably talk about. Is just again, just safety out here in nature. Again, deer ticks, longhorn tick, and now we got a new tick called the Asian. It's called the Asian longhorn tick, and anyway, it brought over from Asia about 7 years ago. First showed up in New Jersey, but we have it here in West Virginia. But again, all the ticks, they don't like this tick repellent. Off doesn't work so well, so it's got to be something like permethoprim. Again, you can get that at your local, either Southern States, Tractor Supply, all these different stores that have different flea dip and things like that for cattle. But you just put it on the bottom of your pants legs, and again, it will stay along for multiple washings. So.
How blessed we are to be able to do this in West Virginia. We just had a tremendous morning and heard lots of birds, worked birds. I like to say, turkey hunting's like playing chess. It's a chess match, and you won today. So congratulations.
Well, I think we lost a bunch and we won one. So it's kind of like if you think about all the other birds, I think when you watch some of our footage, and we even had a turkey up in the tree up there, gobble, 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 gobble. And of course, what happens? Nature, he flies down, gets some hens come to him, and then that's game over. So then you try to find another bird. But I tell you what, you did a tremendous job, Colin. I tell you what,
Thanks.
These turkeys quite well. And you're right, just to look at the iridescence of these birds, I mean, just unbelievable.
Beautiful birds. Yeah.
Beautiful bird, just nice, healthy bird. Big old long beard here, Steve. I mean, just healthy. Nice spurs and everything you got here, Steve. I mean, just
Paul, congratulations again, man. We've been doing this a long time. You're a good friend. You've been so good to the area. You've been so, as a doctor in our area, staying in your hometown. It's been incredible what you've done for all the people of our Tri-County area and all over. But it's always a privilege to come out here on the first day and hunt with you. you know, first day was terrible. Today it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable West Virginia morning. So congratulations, you know,
Well,
excellent bird.
You know, I hate to say terrible because maybe it wasn't so good turkey, but just getting out together, I tell you what, even the rain and the wind, I tell you what, just getting in and that shooting house and just conversing, and again, just the beauty of this bird here. I mean, you see just the iridescence of this turkey. So we're gonna do something a little bit different this year. You know, we're going to talk about W Children's, but we're also going to show the audience just you know, how to field dress one of these birds, how we're going to get that breast meat out. We're going to take the legs and the thighs, and then we're actually going to cook this bird up, and we're going to have a part 2, I think, and we're going to actually sit back, and we're going to sit at your lodge, and we're going to talk a little more turkey, talk a little W Children's, and have a fun turkey dinner. How about that?
That's a pretty good plan to me.
All right, so stay tuned, folks, and we'll be right back.
As the feathers fall. I watch what you do. I watch what a lot of people do to make this state better. And, you know, I appreciate you for that.
Well, I appreciate you, Steve. We are good friends, and we're going to keep doing this again. We're going to be friends for a long time. So anyway, I'm Dr. Paul Conley, and you've been watching another episode of West Virginia Turkey Hunting 2022 with my good friend Steve Antoline. Until next time, have a good night.